Imagine discovering your car was towed from a university parking lot by a power-hungry HOA, only to realize you're the one who funded the entire campus. Buckle up for a wild ride of petty rules, entitled Karens, and a jaw-dropping revenge that shuts down their precious parking garage? Welcome to another wild HOA drama. If you love stories of petty tyrants getting their comeuppance, smash that like button, hit subscribe, and ring the bell so you don't miss a single tale of neighborhood chaos. Let's dive into this epic saga. The morning sun glinted off the sleek glass facade of Westbridge University, a prestigious institution nestled in an upscale suburban enclave. At its heart was a sprawling parking garage, a gleaming monument to order and control, or so the Westbridge Homeowners Association believed. The HOA, a self-appointed guardian of the surrounding community, had extended its iron grip to the university's parking facilities, claiming oversight due to the campus's proximity to their gated neighborhood. Their rules were draconian. No non-residents could park in the garage without a permit, and violations meant immediate towing, no questions asked. For years, this arrangement had sparked grumbling among students and faculty, but none dared challenge the HOA's authority. That is, until Emily Whitaker arrived on campus. Emily, a woman in her mid-40s, was no ordinary visitor. A tech mogul turned philanthropist, she had single-handedly funded Westbridge's transformation from a modest college to a world-class university. Her donations had built lecture halls, labs, and, yes, the very parking garage now under HOA scrutiny. Yet Emily preferred anonymity, her name etched only in fine print on donor plaques. She had returned to Westbridge to guest lecture at the business school, driving her unassuming sedan to blend in with the academic crowd. Parking in the garage's guest section, she thought nothing of it until she emerged from her lecture to find her car gone. Confusion turned to irritation as she spotted a tow truck's taillights vanishing around the corner. A nearby student, noticing her distress, explained the HOA's ironclad rule: no permit, no parking. Emily's jaw tightened. She hadn't been notified of any such regulation, and her car, her private property, had been snatched without warning. At the campus security office, a smug officer handed her a flyer from the Westbridge HOA, detailing their parking ordinance. The fine print mentioned a $500 retrieval fee and a warning of further penalties for repeat offenders. Emily's blood simmered. She wasn't just any visitor. She was the reason this campus existed. But the officer shrugged, citing HOA authority. Emily decided to play along, for now. She paid the fee, retrieved her car, and drove home, her mind already churning with plans. The HOA had no idea who they'd crossed. Back at her sleek downtown office, Emily dug into the HOA's operations. She discovered that their president, Karen Milford, was a stickler for control, wielding the HOA's bylaws like a scepter. Karen, a retired realtor with a penchant for power, had bullied her way into overseeing the University AS parking garage through a dubious agreement with a former campus administrator. The contract, buried in public records, was flimsy at best, riddled with loopholes. Emily's lips curled into a faint smile. She'd built a tech empire by exploiting weaknesses in systems, and this was no different. Her first move was subtle. She requested a meeting with the university's board of trustees, citing her donor status. The board, eager to appease their largest benefactor, agreed. Emily didn't mention the towing yet. Instead, she asked about campus operations, casually steering the conversation to the parking garage. The trustees admitted the HOA's involvement was a temporary measure that had overstayed its welcome. Emily nodded, planting the seed that the arrangement might need reevaluation. She left the meeting with a promise to return, her plan taking shape. Over the next week, Emily gathered intel. She learned Karen's HOA meetings were theatrical displays of authority, where residents cowered under her glare. Emily attended one, posing as a curious newcomer. Karen, perched at the head of a polished conference table, ranted about outsiders, clogging their streets and the need for strict parking enforcement. Emily noted the other board members' discomfort. They were puppets, not partners. Karen's obsession with control was her weakness, and Emily intended to exploit it. She began quietly rallying allies, students, faculty, and even a few disgruntled HOA members who resented Karen's reign. The stage was set for a reckoning, but Emily wasn't ready to strike just yet. She needed the HOA to overplay their hand, and she knew just how to provoke them. Emily's next move was calculated provocation. She parked her car in the university garage again, this time deliberately without a permit, in a spot reserved for faculty. She knew the HOA's tow trucks patrolled like vultures, and sure enough, by midday, her sedan was gone again. This time, she didn't rush to the tow lot. Instead, she contacted a lawyer friend, Rachel, who specialized in property disputes. Rachel uncovered that the HOA's towing contract was with a shady local company, Tow Riser, which split profits with the HOA. The arrangement reeked of self-interest, and Rachel flagged it as a potential conflict of interest. Emily's plan deepened. She instructed Rachel to draft a formal complaint to the university, citing the HOA's overreach and questionable financial ties. Meanwhile, Emily escalated her presence on campus. She announced a series of free public lectures, drawing crowds that overwhelmed the parking garage. Students and visitors, unaware of the HOA's rules, parked wherever they could, triggering a flurry of towing. The university's social media buzzed with complaints, and Emily fanned the flames by anonymously tipping off the student newspaper. A scathing article exposed the HOA's draconian policies, quoting frustrated students and faculty. Karen, furious at the bad press, doubled down. She issued a memo declaring that all non-permitted vehicles would face double fines and immediate towing. No exceptions. The campus erupted in outrage, and Emily watched with quiet satisfaction. Her lectures became a rallying point, with attendees openly mocking the HOA's rules. Karen, sensing a threat to her authority, demanded a meeting with the university's administration. Emily, invited as a donor, sat silently as Karen ranted about disorderly outsiders. The trustees, now wary of public backlash, promised to review the parking agreement. Emily seized the moment, suggesting an independent audit of the HOA's oversight. Karen scoffed, but the trustees agreed, rattled by the growing unrest. Emily's lawyer, Rachel, began digging deeper into Tow Riser's records, uncovering invoices that showed the company had overcharged the university for years, with Karen's signature on every approval. The evidence was mounting, but Emily wasn't done. She wanted Karen to feel the pressure, to make a mistake that would unravel her empire. She organized a campus-wide petition, circulated by students, demanding the HOA relinquish control of the garage. Thousands signed, and the petition landed on the trustees' desks. Karen, cornered, lashed out at an HOA meeting, blaming entitled academics and vowing to tighten enforcement. Her outburst, recorded by a student and posted online, went viral, painting her as the ultimate Karen. The stage was set for Emily's final blow, but she needed one more push to topple the HOA's grip. The petition's success sent shockwaves through the Westbridge HOA. Karen, now a public pariah, scrambled to salvage her reputation. She launched a PR campaign, plastering the neighborhood with flyers defending the HOA's community protection measures. But the damage was done. The viral video of her meltdown had racked up millions of views, with comments calling for her resignation. Emily, working behind the scenes, fed Rachel more ammunition. The lawyer uncovered a bombshell. Karen had personally profited from Tow Riser as towing fees through a shell company tied to her husband. The evidence was airtight, and Rachel presented it to the university's board, along with a legal opinion that the HOA-8's contract was invalid due to undisclosed conflicts of interest. The trustees, now facing a PR nightmare and potential lawsuits, voted unanimously to terminate the HOA's oversight of the parking garage. Emily, still playing the quiet philanthropist, suggested a new parking policy. free access for all campus visitors, funded by her foundation. The board, eager to distance itself from the scandal, agreed. Karen, notified of the decision, stormed into the university's administrative office demanding an explanation. She was met with a cease and desist letter from Rachel, outlining the HOA's legal vulnerabilities. Defeated, Karen retreated, but Emily wasn't finished. She tipped off a local investigative reporter who ran a story exposing Karen's financial ties to Tow-Riser. The article triggered a state investigation into the HOA's practices, and Karen resigned in disgrace, her reign over Westbridge shattered. The parking garage, now free of HOA control, became a symbol of the university's independence. Emily's lectures drew record crowds, and students began calling her the parking lot savior online, though she never revealed her full role. The HOA, humiliated, scaled back its overreach, and the neighborhood sighed in relief. But Emily had one final move. At a trustee meeting, she proposed a new campus fund to maintain the garage, with a catch. It would be named the Whitaker Community Hub, a subtle nod to her victory. The board, unaware of her orchestration, approved it enthusiastically. As Emily drove out of the garage one last time, she glanced at the empty tow lot nearby. The HOA's reign was over, and she'd ensured they'd never forget who really held the power. That's it for this epic HOA takedown. If you loved watching this Karen get what she deserved, hit that like button, subscribe, and ring the bell for more wild neighborhood drama. Drop a comment with your own HOA horror stories. We'd love to hear them. See you in the next one.